Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge, here's Ben Foster. How you doing?
Really well, thank you very much. Yeah?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Do. Under pressure. Is there Erik Ten Hag under pressure? Straight into it.
Got to be a little bit, hasn't he? Got to be a little bit. 10th in the league, just lost at home to Crystal Palace. Not a very convincing performance at all. But that's basically their season in a nutshell, isn't it? Once again, I don't know what I'm going to get from Man United, and I don't know, do the players really look too bothered? Are they playing a real style of football where you can go, well, I can see what they're trying to do at least.
Yeah.
And I don't see any of it. So yeah, I think he is going to have to be a little bit under pressure.
4 losses from their first 7 games. It's been something that United fans have had rammed down their throats this weekend, and it's difficult because it's our worst ever Premier League start to a season. But I think you're absolutely spot on. There doesn't seem to be much of an identity of Manchester United at the moment. Lots of injuries. Lissandro Martinez is out for 3 months. Luke Shaw's a big player. Wan-Bissaka, a few other players, sort of peripheral players. We can't really claim them as first-team players, but people like Mainu, Malacia, Ahmad, Reguilon would be valuable players at the moment. Some of those players are long-term injuries.
Yeah.
What is the issue I've said is that I don't see a solution. Like a Liverpool or a Man City, if they had a few injuries, you go, well, if they could just if they get De Bruyne back and Haaland back, they'll be firing again. I don't feel that with United. So I'm sort of asking the question, what next? What do you think's going to happen between now and Christmas? Because for me, everything's on the table. You could have a manager sacked. I don't want that. But if you keep losing, any manager could be sacked.
I don't even think United can blame it on injuries, because if you look at that list of injured players, get it on the screen now. Martinez, Reguilon, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Manu, Malacia, Diallo, are they going to get in any of the big boys teams? Do you reckon any of them would get in a Tottenham starting lineup?
Yeah, but do you think Rashford, Bruno...
Exactly.
I was saying this at the weekend. The thing about United is you look at it, there is a playing style issue, and it's about where you put the blame for this situation at United, because it wasn't a surprise to lose to Palace at home.
No.
And I look at the team and I look at the way Spurs play, and Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, these are good players, but in their current form and in that United side, does their style of play drop straight into a Spurs or a Brighton or a Villa?
It's straight away the mentality of it, yeah? So the reason why Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, just 3 teams who aren't big boys, by the way. They aren't the biggest of boys. The reason why they're winning games and looking so good whilst they do it is because of the mentality. But the mentality comes from the manager. The mentality comes from the way that the club want to do it, finally. So Spurs have finally gone, do you know what? We're going to get rid of all these managers that we've always gone for this marquee signing of a manager and gone, no, do you know what? Let's go back to basics and get a proper manager who knows what he's doing and will be able to take control of the whole team. Yeah. And he'll run everything. Same with Villa, same with Brighton, right? They've got a coach who knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a playing style who he will relentlessly stick to. Big Ange at Arsenal. He's playing away at Arsenal, right? And you'd expect him to go, well, let's just try and sit. No chance on this earth. He comes out and says, lads, you play my style of football and that's it. If we fail and we get pumped, I'll take blame for it, because I'm
Brighton against Villa, isn't it?
I'll play my style of football. If we get pumped, cool. But it's me that will take the blame for it. And so everybody goes out there and goes, you know what? Even if I make a mistake, this is what I've been told to do, and this is what I'm good at doing. But they're relentless with it. They keep working, keep pushing, keep probing.
I don't think that Ange could do that at United, though.
It would, with this team, no. I don't think he could do it.
Because there's a lot of people who level that at Ten Hag and say, well, look what Ange has done at Spurs. And I do agree with the statement, but I don't agree with the detail, in the sense that I don't think Pep Guardiola's De Zerbi, Ange turn those players into that.
No, I think you're struggling with this team. I think if you put Big Ange in the Man United team with a month left of the season and then give him the whole of the summer to get rid of who he wants to get rid of, he would then be able to do it as much better, I promise you, because he would shift so many of these players on, right? I guarantee you, he would be the sort of manager that if there's a player that's kind of umming and ahhing and doesn't really suit his style, he will get rid of him, He will say to the board, listen, no, we get rid of him. I don't want him around the team. I don't want him doing this. Get rid of him, whether you have to take a bit of a hit financially. don't care, get rid of him because I want this player in, I want this player in, I want this player in. You look at what he did at Celtic, it's the same thing. He's buying players from all over the place, the amount of like Korean players he had, but they all buy into the same work ethic. So that's what he'll do. He'll go and get players that, first and foremost, to win football matches, you have to work hard and you have to be committed and you have to really put in the hard yards. It's as simple as that. That's the first and foremost. And I don't think there's hardly anybody in that Man United team who really put the hard yards in.
Well, Ten Hag has got players who don't even put the hard yards in training. They don't even turn up for training on time. And he has had that situation this summer where he said, move this player on. I don't care what the financial restrictions are. And they've gone, no, we're not paying that player off. And therefore, he's still in the Man United squad. And we know that that's Harry Maguire, but there will be other examples of that. I just personally think that, Ten Hag isn't the problem, but cannot be the solution in that situation.
I don't think Harry Maguire's a problem. I guarantee you he's not a problem in that dressing room.
No, I was just using him as an example of a player
I bet there'll be players in that team that don't really work hard and are a little bit childish and a little bit sort of immature. The way Jadon Sancho behaves and stuff, for example, that shouldn't be allowed to happen, full stop. You'll never hear this from Harry Maguire, though. I bet you Harry Maguire turns in, he'll be one of the first ones into training. He gets a lot of flack for what he does on the pitch.
It's an ability thing with him. He just wants to move him
behind the scenes, he will do everything properly. And that's the reason why he's happy to keep players like that around. But when you've got other players that don't do all that kind of stuff, late, sloppy, unprofessional, don't put the hard yards in training, don't work hard on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon, they're the sort of players that you need to get rid of ASAP. And somebody like Big Ange will do that. He will get rid of you. I don't care. As long as you're the player on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon or on the pitch on a Thursday, Friday, Wednesday in training, giving it everything you've got a place in this team.
So what does Ten Hag do then? Because I think we're tired as United fans of saying what next. I mean, I said last night the season's over in the sense of what the expectations were. The season's not over in the fact that it's still only the start of October, but we finished third last year, won a trophy. Your expectation this year would be to at least replicate that and actually improve on that. We're not finishing third. And I mean, you never know, you might win a Carabao Cup, but in the league, I don't think we'll be top 5, let alone top 6. So
I'd be surprised if United qualify from the Champions League group.
Yeah,
I really would be surprised.
And that's what's next. So how does he that's still salvageable. This week it's salvageable, but that team looks like it's all right, might win a game, but it will definitely do another Palace. It's stuck in a rut. It is what it is. It's a boat in the ocean with no energy, isn't it? It's like it's just up and down. But should he be making big changes? Should he be taking certain players out and looking at, all right, a lot of people in the chat would say drop Bruno, drop Rashford, bring Garnacho in, play Mount as the 10, put Amrabat next to Casemiro. All right, Bruno and Rashford are better players individually, but look at the Brightons, look at the Spurs. The collective is better than the individual.
It's exactly
get a balanced team out there and forget the superstars. He's never going to do that, though, is he?
But that's then what chance have you got? That's the whole problem of it.
He needs Rashford to fire. His season is almost dependent on Rashford, isn't it?
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. You need all of them to fire, but they're not firing because they don't. They always say the harder I work, the luckier I get. Yeah. That's a massive saying, right? And it's true, though. It's very, very true. The harder you work, then you might be in position a little bit more, maybe half a yard more, just to be able to intercept that, to block that, to get up close to it. Yeah. I don't see any of that from Manchester United at this moment in time. And I'll be honest with you, I don't expect a lot from Man United this season whatsoever. I really don't. I don't think they've got the ability to win a cup, even though Man City have gone out of the League Cup already. I don't think they've got the ability to win a cup. I'll be surprised if they get through the Champions League group. And at this moment in time in the Premier League, after 6-7 games, there is probably 8 teams better than Man United. At least 8 teams better than Man United.
You are where you are. You're an ex-player yourself. After 6 or 7 games, you don't look after 2 or 3, do you? After 6 or 7, you start to see where you are.
10th in the league tells you a story, doesn't it? And we do the other football show that we do, don't we, on This Is Football, where we do the match predictions. Yeah. Every single week, no matter who Man United are playing. So Man United are playing at home to Brentford next week. We can't confidently say Man United are going to win that game. We can't confidently say, you've gone for a Man United win, I've gone for a draw. And I don't really know what it's going to be. It could be anything.
And I think there's 2 things from that. One, the injuries which we've spoken about, which for me always make an impact, but wouldn't. If you give me all those players back, I still think we would have a problem because the identity of the team is still an issue. And if you're hiding behind the injuries, Luke Shaw and Martinez and Wan-Bissaka are a big loss, but we're still the same team that can't play good football and doesn't have an identity and struggles to score goals. And then the second thing is, Ben, what is going to happen over the next few weeks. Like if Man City are not too far away, Brentford you could win, but I just think 4 from 7, there is a point where it could go, I don't know, 6 from 10. It gets to a point where you go, well, all right. The saddest thing about United is that standards have just dropped to this point that they never should have dropped to. Yeah. What's the future for Manchester United?
Oh, mate, it could be anything, honestly. There's just the Man United have just changed so much. It's crazy to see. It's scary to see. Some of the goings on at Old Trafford and at Carrington. You've got the problems with what's his name? What's the one called?
Anthony. Yeah, but he's back now.
Yeah, you've got the problems with Anthony off the pitch. You've got the problem with Jadon Sancho off the pitch.
The Greenwood stuff.
The Greenwood stuff, and there's no other team that has this amount of problems.
No. It does come down to recruiting.
There's no other team that has this amount of problems. Back in the day, you used to, whoever you signed or whoever was in that Man United team, you'd know what they're like as a character. You'd find out before you've even signed them. You'd have to talk to everybody to find out they're good, solid people first and foremost. And that's probably just symptomatic of most of the team, to be honest with you. I bet you there's, you're talking about the tip of the iceberg probably with those players that I've just mentioned.
There's a lot going on that we don't know.
There'll be a lot going on behind the scenes as well, and that just breeds sort of bad harmony. It really, really does, and that in turn is when you get on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon. Going forward, mate, I really don't know. It's so hard to predict. United could probably go on a 2 or 3 game winning run. I don't see them ever going on anything more than that. But for me, they're just so inconsistent that it's going to be hit and miss every single week.
Finally, you've played the game. There is a dressing room scenario that you've been in for many years. You'll know lots of footballers. That team, we're not individualising this. It's a club issue. Yeah. Actually, it's not just the dressing room. It's the board. It's the owners. There is a mentality issue in that whole football club. Yeah. Is there, in your opinion, whether injuries are back or not, an ability for that squad to press a button and suddenly have the mentality of an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Manchester City or an Aston Villa or a Brighton? Is that squad salvageable, or are we already looking at it and going, the only thing that's saving this is the freedom to spend big, sell big, and something like Qatar?
I don't see how Man United can. They've got too many players they need to move on and too many players they need to buy. But I think a lot of the problem with Man United is the amount of money they're paying for players and then the wages that they're paying players. I just feel it's just gotten out of hand with Man United, and unless they can go back to a place where they start to be a bit more sensible with it, then I think they're always going to struggle, because when you're on 200 grand a week, 300 grand a week, and you've got a little niggle or an injury, it's too easy, I think, nowadays to say, I'm not really going to push it, I'm not going to play through the pain barrier, I'm just going to take it easy this week. And then I think that rots through the whole team, I really do. It's just, but Man United are Man United, so no matter what it is now, if they're going to try and buy a player for 10 million, the club are going to say, no, I want 20 million. We want 30 million. They're going to pump the prices up on absolutely everything. So every player that they've got is going to be, basically, they're paid way too much for them, really. But then there comes too much expectation, because if you pay £50 million for a player, but he's really only a £20 million player, you expect that £50 million player to be hitting the ground running, but probably not good enough to do that.
They've lost their identity.
It's a bad show this morning, mate. But it is. It's so, like, there's nothing good from it.
They have lost their identity, because I've never understood. For me, obviously, as a fan, I'm biased, but Manchester United should be the pinnacle for a lot of people's career. Yeah. You should, if you're on, I don't know, 50 grand a week at, I don't know, Everton, and you get offered to go to United, you shouldn't be saying I want 250 grand a week. You should be going, I'll do it for 100k. And then they come hungry. But Man United said last year that we're going to sort the wage structure out. We're not going to pay over 200 grand a week anymore. Yeah, just handed bloody Rashford 375.
Of course they have. Yeah.
It's like this is what I mean. You can individualise it and make it about the players, but we create the lethargy, the lack of consistency, because we create these issues by chucking stupid money at players who are individuals themselves and obviously lack mentality for the fight.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's all it is. It's a scary situation to be in at Man United at this moment in time.
I'll tell you what it needs: knocking down and building again.
From the very start, from the very start.
You can't keep sticking a plaster on or bit of cement here. It's like they literally need to...
Do you know what? I bet that if there's a player that comes available, like a good player who's playing for, I don't know, like one of these, like an Osimhen or someone like that, I guarantee you a Napoli, for example, would absolutely buzz off Manchester United getting involved in the bidding war. And the player would buzz off Man United as well, because not necessarily wanting to go and play for them, but he knows that if Man United are in the mix, one, they'll pay just as much money as anybody else, if not more, but two, his wages that he'll be able to ask for would be the highest that he'll possibly get, other than going to Saudi. So he'll get more off Man United than what he would off Man City, off Arsenal, off Liverpool.
And he'll push them all.
Exactly. So then that means what he'll be able to do then is go to the Liverpool or the Arsenal, who he probably would prefer to play for, and say, well, they're offering me 300 grand a week, so you're going to have to give me 300 grand a week, or else I'll go to them. That's the situation that you're in now with Man United, which is bonkers, because it shouldn't be like it should be the other way around. Man United should, in days gone by, be offering less wages, but say, but you're playing for Man United.
Yeah.
You get to come and play for Manchester United at the theatre of dreams, and that would sway everybody. Everybody go, oh my God, I don't care what I'm getting paid. I'll go and play for Man United, and that's not what it is.
Well, that's how Roy Keane ended up being a Man United player. He was going to Blackburn on a Friday. Kenny Dalglish goes on a golfing holiday. Sir Alex swoops in.
Boom.
Man United. That'll do. And this is what I mean. People go after the players a lot. We create the problems with the way the club is run. It's not looking good at United. Thanks, Ben.
Pleasure.
Honesty. We like a bit of that.
Yeah.
Speak to you on the next one.
Yeah.
Smash a like on the video. Get your comments in below. Lots to talk about. Speak to you all soon.